Good evening. Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as always, thank you to the veterans and your families for your sacrifice. The purpose of this meeting is the public hearing on the millage rate. So I'd like a motion to go into public hearing.
Make a motion to enter public hearing.
Second. Second. All those in favor? So the tax year 2023 millage rate. The City of Statham has tentatively adopted a millage rate which will require an increase in property taxes for the 2023 tax year. The City of Statham anticipates the property tax levies will be set at 4.06 mils. This is an increase of 0.057 over the 2022 millage rate and an increase of 0.795 over the rollback rate. Without this tentative tax increase, the millage rate would be no more than 3.265 mils. The proposed tax increase for a home with a fair market value of $225,000 is approximately $5.13, and the approximate tax increase for the non-homestead property with a fair market value of $300,000 is $6.84. So, open for public comment, questions, concerns. Anybody signed up? You're signed up? Yes. Brad?
Cheryl Venable, 2021 Broad Street, Statham. I'm in favor of this increase. And the reason I'm in favor is I would have to ask the council, if you don't increase, what are you going to cut? Because right now, for the first time in a long time, we have a police department that's with us full time. We have our security 24/7. So I'd have to ask you, if you vote to not increase, what are you going to vote to take out of our budget this year? What service are you going to take away from our citizens? If you look at those numbers that the mayor just stated, citizens are paying no more than $2 a day for their increase, and some less. So I would also ask the citizens, what are you willing to give up for less than a quarter? What are you willing to have the council sacrifice of services? Because more and more citizens want more services, and as they want more services, those services cost. As we all know, inflation is not a 6% inflation, as has been in the past. Some of the items in the grocery store have increased 300%. 300%. Gas is going back up again. So, I've said this before. I've worked for government, and government doesn't get a big deal. They don't get those deals. We're going to give you the bonus deal. Government pays for what they provide to the citizens. They pay wages, they pay gas, they pay utilities. As our utilities as a citizen increases, so does the government. So it costs more to run a government. So I don't know of anywhere throughout this country right now that is declining. We're doing a little hiccup this year. I'm the kind of person that if you're going to hit me, and let it be for a few years. Because next year, I can foresee possible another increase. But I say in common sense, what in your life as a citizen has decreased? The government doesn't get these deals that everyone thinks they may get. They pay with our public funds to give us the services. So I am for this increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you. Mayor Bridges had my keys, so.
Oh.
I guess you never, I'm sorry, I guess you never lose that title, and he held the keys up. Anyone else that's signed up or would like to make any comment? Don't want to put you on the spot, but does anybody have any questions for Rachel Menry, our CPA?
I would ask, the common sense, we are short, what's our total dollar for projected budget?
Well, this will balance our budget. So if we don't do this, and we were to do a rollback, we would be at about $100,000 short.
And we approved our fiscal year 2024 budget based on this increase. So if it doesn't go through, $100,000 could be police officers.
And that's why I said, what are you willing to cut as a council? What is, and you may or may not know, but what do you find to be the cost of living increase right now? Do you know those said numbers?
Yes, and actually we had this for the last meeting. We did, look at, I ran it over an 8-year period, so I have to calculate the most recent, but over that 8-year period, CPI has increased 28%. And just over there. Yeah, I am.
I think education and knowledge helps to make decisions.
Mayor, while they're looking at that, not to interrupt, I just want to make a brief statement about the millage increase that's proposed. Very difficult for me, as most people are well aware, to increase taxes or fees or anything else. With that said, we're at a point with the city right now to where, given inflationary costs that's hit everybody, it's not that it makes it any easier on people to do this, but given the inflationary cost that's hit everybody, including the government, this small tax increase, I think, is probably as fair as increase that we could possibly offer without having to cut services. The majority of this tax increase countywide and even here in Salem, I think, is more related to the assessed value of properties than it is this proposed millage increase. And I know that that's probably a sore spot for most people, given that their property values have increased so much with the boom that's going on in North Georgia, particularly in Barrow County. But again, the city mayor and council doesn't control the assessed value. That comes from the county. We're dealt in having to deal with those assessed values as they come in. It's not our call. So overall, just to reiterate, the proposed millage rate, is going to be a minor increase overall, given the bigger increase on the assessed values by the county. So when you see the $5.13 approximation for a $225,000 house, that's what's controlled by us, and the bigger increase on the assessed values that affect your tax bill is controlled by the county.
effective, you already got the information?
Oh, yes, it's 8.47,
That's the,
the most recent year's, data provided.
okay. So, no, I'm just gonna introduce him. Well, if there's no further, discussion, well, I will wait. Councilman Kraus, we're discussing the millage rate, and it was open to the public, but also to the council. Do you have any questions, comments, questions for CPA? Put you on the spot so you walk in.
I apologize. I hate going up on taxes, everybody does, but I see the necessity of it. So I really don't have any questions because I see what we need to have to balance the budget, to be able to move forward the things that we need to do. And I know there's several people that have talked to me about it, and I've tried to explain it to them, as best I could. But it is a necessity and it needs to be done. And so I understand.
Okay. Well, if there's no further discussion, could I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
Make a motion to go out of public hearing.
Okay, all those in favor? All right. I believe you all have a copy. As you know, our last work session, Jordan didn't have the opportunity to put together a report. They have repaired several moderate to major water leaks. One of them was over in the Oak Springs area. They got it resolved today. I believe there was one on Mulberry that they were able to resolve. And they continue to try to keep up with the grass at least once a week. We run limb pickup. The community could really help the council and the city in regards to if you have limbs to be picked up, call in, and one of the staff will do a work order. If there's only 3 or 4 work orders, we may not run the truck, but if we got 12, 15 work orders, that means we probably have 30 or 40 homes that have. We have 3 or 4, we probably have a dozen. And with the price of fuel, as was stated earlier, we don't get a break on it. And when you're running diesel, it's a lot more expensive. So it gets about 4 to 4.5 miles to the gallon. So we like to know that we have something out there that we need to pick up and not drive around looking for it. So I would ask the public for assistance on this. And if it floods us with requests and we have to run the truck 3 days a week, that's part of our services that we try to provide to the city. So we do have one major problem that they're going to have to relocate. Statham Apartments, I guess the engineer miscalculated and more or less encroached on a 8-inch water main that belongs to the Winder Housing Authority. So we're hoping that will be possibly started tomorrow and get that moved. 140 feet of 8-inch water main that runs along Highway 29 that needs to be relocated and a master meter. So that's going to be a major job. So that's Jordan's report. Any other citizen input as far as any other topics?
Cheryl Venable, 2021 Broad Street. I would just I know, a few weeks ago when we had the storm, I would just like to say how grateful I was, that citizens showed up to help, but also Jordan and I don't know the other gentleman's name, Jimmy, that came out. My concern on that was, we weren't informed that at that time, you, Mayor, were out of town, and your Vice Mayor could have pre-planned for that. Some storms you can't plan for, but that one gave us alerts really early that we could have let maybe Public Works know that they could stand by. Police, we might need a couple more, because when it hit, it came. I was grilling chicken, and I saw my lawn chairs go, and I got my chicken off the grill, but that was about it. You know, it came, it was forceful. And some storms on alerts, we know right now we're in 100 degrees, these storms are going to pop up, but we don't know what kind of damage they're going to do. So preparation and communication is so important for our community to know that, once again, the tax dollars we're paying for the services rendered are going to be prepared. And I can say, when I worked for Madison County, we were ill-prepared. We had 2 tornadoes one day hit us, both at the same time. And we learned a very valuable lesson. We didn't have flashlights in the courthouse. We didn't have communication. We could have lost some of our employees. We were fortunate enough, some of us got on the phone and told them to get back in the building, and that building literally came up and came down. And that's one of the things that I would ask is planning for storms. What are the steps that we do for these storms? What are the steps that we have for emergencies? Do we have a vendor list that the police department can call, or Public Works call? Once again, because we are a small community, I did see, and I do not know their name, 4 people on Broad Street cutting up this tree with an axe, a saw, and a little power saw, and an older woman pulling the branches. And they were out there doing their due diligence. And we happened to come upon them, we put our flashers on, called the police, and they came on down. But those are the things that, to the best of your ability, if you have awareness, you can be prepared. But otherwise, I was just really happy the next day to see the boys once again out picking those limbs up, and then the next day picking the limbs up. Because I think, once again, we can't stop disaster, but we can react to it, and we can take action on it. So I would, like to give kudos to that Public Works Department. The police also, they were out there, but I do appreciate some of the council came out too. That was nice to see. But thank you.
Well, piggybacking on that, our flagpole was hit with that lightning storm and blew a lot of the bricks out. So it was not vandalized. I went and viewed the video until I found the culprit. And I just met with a gentleman out here, he's going to give me an estimate of repairing it. And it's more extensive than I thought. It's probably halfway around. It went down the pole and it blew out the bricks. So he may have to totally reconstruct it, but it is not vandalism, which I'm happy for. But I did cut the little segment where the lightning hit it, and it's pretty amazing. But Mother Nature is definitely stronger. Yeah. So if there's no other citizen input, I'd ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? You have your toss-up, council. Thank you. We have a 7 o'clock meeting. However, by law, we cannot start early. We can start late. So feel free to mingle with our police. We have Chief Underwood, we have Sergeant Hood, and we have Captain Nick. Thank you all for coming.